Oh, hello there. Thank you for joining us. It's Sunday again, would you believe? And of course, that means this. Let's get it on. Hello, welcome once again to Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel. Thank you so much for joining me live. If you are joining me live, if you are watching on playback, catch up, where were you? No, I say that some weeks, and I'm only joking when I say that because I know that it's not convenient for everyone to join me live. But I do really appreciate everybody that watches the live show. I appreciate everybody that watches the catch-up. I appreciate everybody that gives a thumbs up, because a thumbs up is a like for Elvis. Every thumbs up is a like for Elvis. We set a target every week, if we can, of 300 likes. Most weeks we do it, some weeks we don't. I think I failed last week, but hey ho, here we go. Arkansas Dave is in the building. He's moderating for me tonight. I'm not sure whether Chris and Maxine are in the building as well. However, thanks Dave. And I can see that most people have actually liked this live stream, but not everybody. So if you can, it is important just to give the thumbs up. Nobody sees who thumbs ups and who doesn't, but it is important because that is the way that YouTube promote and judge a video. If I don't know, say just an arbitrary figure of 1,000 people watch a video but only 50 people like it, then YouTube sort of look at that as a failure, I suppose. But if 850 people like it, then yes, it's a success and they'll promote it. And what we are trying to do with this channel, what I've been trying to do from day one, is to promote Elvis, protect his legacy, keep his memory alive, and you know the rest. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So those thumbs up are important, believe it or not, as a way of getting YouTube to promote Elvis Presley. Right, so where are we? I'll tell you where we are. We are doing a live poll. A lot of today's show is going to be centered around the 1968 comeback TV special, simply because what's been doing the rounds in the movie theaters, only 2 showings over here actually, one last Sunday and one on Thursday, of Reinventing Elvis. And I went to see it. There it is. I went to see it on Thursday. And we'll come to that in a few minutes. We'll do the quiz. We'll do a song I wish Elvis had recorded, Photoshop of the week, caption this photo. We always have a lot of fun with caption this photo. Smoking hot photo. Oh, wow. Oh, I know I say this most weeks, but wow, wait till you see the smoking hot photo. A YouTube channel I recommend as well. I've got another one. I've recommended this channel before, actually. I know I'm repeating myself, but the reason why I'm going to recommend it again is because this channel, even though it is not universally a Elvis channel, he does topics covering Elvis now and again, and he's done a new one, and it's a very, very good video. So I want to promote that video he's done, and I also want to promote his channel. Okay, so that's coming up. This day in Elvis history, big day in Elvis history. If it's a red letter day for you, if it's your birthday, an anniversary of some type, and you've often wondered, I wonder what Elvis was doing on this day down through the years, then I will be able to tell you for that. The topic, of course, will be Elvis, reinventing Elvis, because I went to see it, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you my verdict. Now, it is only my verdict. It's not a universal verdict, so just bear that in mind. But some people said they would be interested in what I thought of it, being a long-time fan of over 50 years. You will be able to call me after the quiz and the topic. You'll be able to call me free on WhatsApp. Instagram, and Messenger. The number is on the screen, but I haven't turned the phone lines on yet. Or you can just dial that number and pay for the call. I don't think phone calls are that expensive these days anyway. So, right. And of course, a big thank you to everybody and the kind messages and emails and show of support that I get through the week. And also the emails I get suggesting, the smoking hot photos and all those sort of things. And I wish Elvis had recorded. I like people to send me in the songs that they wish Elvis had recorded. And all the other things. You can see the email there at the top of the screen. So what have we got as far as the quiz is concerned? Well, the quiz this week is mystery co-stars. Elvis's mystery co-stars. I haven't got a jingle for it, but I do have a new jingle for the person that gets the correct answer first. And it is a 1968 NBC TV special jingle. Okay. I've changed the one from, I did 29 pictures like that. So who's going to be the first recipient of this jingle? And the mystery co-star is, I show you a picture of an Elvis Presley co-star, but the face is blanked out. And you've got to tell me who it is. Stand by, Dave. Dave says, "Is there a new mystery jingle?" There isn't. There isn't a new mystery jingle, but there's a new jingle for the person that gets it right. Okay, Dave. So here we go. What have I got to do? I have got to show you. Stand by for question number 1, and all this is very important because at the end of this month, I will be announcing the fan of the year. Not just the month, but the fan of the year. So everybody's name is going to go into a pot, and I'm going to draw one name out, and that person is going to get a very, very special prize. The prize is better than the monthly prizes because of, it's a bigger accolade. And if you remember last year, Helen Murray won a Speedway jacket, the red Speedway jacket with the white stripes. I think she originally wanted the blue one, but I couldn't get hold of the blue one, believe it or not. Anyway, I digress. Who is this co-star? Obviously, we're looking for the one on the left. And let's have a look. See who's coming up. And would you believe that? Oh, Cynthia Pepper, says Jack Mullins. No, it's not Cynthia Pepper. Right movie, though. Joan Blackman? No, it's not Joan Blackman. Well, do you know, a lot of people have actually said Yvonne Craig, but the person I believe said it first was the lady I've just mentioned her name winning the Speedway jacket there a minute ago. It's Helen Ludlow, I believe. And Dave has said Helen Ludlow. Well, congratulations, Helen. Let me get the pen and write your name against the first correct answer. And then we're going to do this jingle. Helen Ludlow is the recipient of the brand new quiz jingle. And this is it.
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still. The only thing I moved was my little finger like that.
I just love that. He's prompted to tell that tale by DJ Fontana. And then he does and sings Hound Dog, doesn't he? He wiggles the finger. I can't do it as well as Elvis, but, Okay, so here we are. That was Helen Ludlow. And just to prove that is Yvonne Craig, there it is. Okay, there's Yvonne Craig. Beautiful Yvonne Craig. Helen misspelled Yvonne Craig's first name. Norset was next. Well, do you know what I'm going to do? As soon as I have already said Helen, I'm going to put, to be fair, I'm going to put Norset in as well. How's that? So Norset, you're in for the fan of the year as well as fan of the month. Well, no, there isn't a fan of the month for August. It's a fan of the year. Right. So that's what I'm going to do. Timothy Lee says, love the jingle every time, Steve. Okay. Yeah. Well, I thought I'm trying to keep it as much 68 special as possible because of the Reinventing Elvis connection. Right. Now, who is this Elvis co-star? I'm going to take a drink. Cheers, everybody. Right. I do actually see that one person has got it right. 2, 3 people. Don, Norset, Ruth. Yeah. Steve Sadler. Hi, Steve. Okay. So, yeah, Dave says it's Ann Y. Ann Y, you get this.
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still.
The only thing I move a little finger like that. Yes. Okay, Ann Y. Well done. Well done. Greg has said Ed Asner. I'm wondering, Greg, are you a couple of weeks behind? Because a couple of weeks ago we actually used Ed Asner, but I don't think it was it wasn't it was the mystery voice. It was Ed Asner talking about Elvis. Is Deborah Wally still living, Steve? I think she might be, actually. Yeah, I think she might be. Right, here we go. Co-star number 3.
The police came out and they filmed the show.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm so used to pressing the button. I think it was because I was talking about mystery voice. Just to prove that that is Deborah Wally. There you are. There's Deborah. Be quiet, Elvis. I know they came out and filmed the show. I'm losing it already. And we're only quarter of an hour into the show. Okay, who is this co-star? There you are. I think it's obvious that it's a male co-star this time. I hope it's obvious. Rebel Vegan says you didn't show her face, Steve. I just did, actually. Thanks for reminding me. Wow, look at all those correct answers. Oh, pick the bones out of that one, Dave. Yeah, well, Dave says Norset 45. Well, Norset, you're down for another one then, by the looks of it. And it is, of course, Bill Bixby. And to prove it, there's Bill already. And you get this, Norset.
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still. The only thing I moved was my little finger like that.
Yes. Don't forget, I am going to be covering Reinventing Elvis after this quiz. So if you're interested in knowing what I think of it, my particular opinion on it, if you're interested in my opinion, I will share it with you. Right. Here we go. Number 4. Is it going to be male or is it going to be female? Elvis co-star, mystery co-star, number 4. Now, there's a lot of hair there. That should give it away. He looks a little bit like Scotty Moore. Yeah, he does in that photo, actually, yeah. Wow. And Nuala says Stella Stevens. No. Barbara Stanwyck? No, Dylan, not Barbara Stanwyck. Wow. I've got to tell. Ruth says Joan Blondell. Dawn, Joan Blondell, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is Norset, you're on fire tonight. You really are on fire. That's Norset again gets this.
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still. The only thing I moved was my little finger like that.
And just to prove, there she is, Joan Blondell. Yeah. I think a lot of it was quite easy because of the hair, I believe. This one might trip a few up, actually, if I remember the picture and the pose I've chosen. And it's this one. Number 5. Male or female? What Elvis co-star is shown here? Spelling will be paramount here. What movie was Joan in with Elvis? It was Charo. Okay, Bossa Nova Baby has got the wrong spelling, unfortunately. In fact, everybody has actually got one of the names wrong. Would you believe that? Ruth is nearly right. But you know, Greg Webb is right, because a lot of people have been saying Yarnell and it's Yarnall. So, Greg, you have got it right. Well done, Greg. Greg Webb. It's Celeste Yarnall. And just to prove it, there. Well done, Greg. Yeah, Yarnall is right. Well done, Greg. And Greg gets...
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still. The only thing I moved was my little finger like that.
Dylan says, at least I got one. Yeah, well, yeah. That's what it's all about. Leo says it was a tough one. Greg says, I met her once. Wow, that's an interesting topic there. Interesting occurrence. Oh, right, Dave. What movie was Celeste in? Celeste was in, just looking at Elvis there, actually, you can tell that that's Live a Little, Love a Little. You can just tell just by looking at Elvis. Well, I can anyway. Right, Steve, how can I find Reinventing Elvis at the movies here in Italy? Vincenzo, I don't think you will, because unfortunately it was not released in all countries. So, yeah, and the time has now passed, because I think it was only showing for 2 dates where it was being shown. And I'm going to come to that in a minute. Okay, so just bear with me a little bit. Which movie was Joan in with Elvis? Yeah, I did, Dave. I said Charo. Yeah, we weren't listening. I definitely did say Charo. He looked so good in a turtleneck. Yes, he did. You know, Elvis had a thing about his neck. The reason why he wore turtlenecks and he wore his collar up was because he thought his neck was too long. Now, I personally didn't think it was, but there you are. Yeah, well, Kirsty, I'm going to come to that. Vincenzo, Steve, I met Dolores Hart once at a convent in Connecticut. Yes, Joan was in Stay Away Joe. Actually, do you know something? You're right. Why am I saying Charo? You're right. It was Stay Away Joe. Wake up, Steve. I know why I've got Charo in my head. It's because Charo is coming up in the this day in Elvis history. So, yes, thanks for everybody for correcting me. She was in Stay Away Joe, not Charo. Well done. That was just a test to see if you were paying attention. It was like the other week when I should have said 1966 and I said 1976. Elvis sent Red West into Studio B to do the vocals and I said 1976 and it was 1966. So yes, sorry for apologies. It was Stay Away Joe, not Charo. And then Celeste was in Live a Little, Love a Little. Yeah. I don't know whether I'm just a little bit off kilter, a little bit off key today. Maybe that's why I'm getting a few things wrong. I don't know. Maybe I need a little... Deb H says, you awake, Steve? I don't know. I had a little bit of a nap and maybe I haven't woken up properly yet. So, there you are. Yes. You sound like Captain Mainwaring now, Steve. Mainwaring. Do I? Why? What did I say? Because I actually love Captain Mainwaring. I actually love that that comedy. It's an old comedy called Dad's Army, and Captain Mainwaring was one of the the characters. Yeah. So I've got to get out of the stables and stop horsing around is right. Okay. Concentration is the thing. I've got to concentrate because I've even pressed a wrong button as well tonight. I pressed a button thinking it was a quiz button, and it was the jingle. Anyway, Steve, concentrate. Number 6. We're counting on your facts, Steve. Yeah, well, don't count on them tonight. Count on them other times, but don't count on them tonight. Right. Dad's Army, when he makes mistakes and tells the men he was testing them. Ah, yeah, I know. Yeah, he does. He says, very good, Wilson. I wondered who would be the first one to spot that. I love Dad's Army. I don't think it was ever shown in America, but it was big in this part of the world. Buy Steve coffee. Yes, buy me coffee. You can use the link below or you can scan the QR code. I think I need it. I really do need it. Right, number 6. Who is this co-star? Male, female, who is it? Right. And I've done you a favor there. I've left the hair because this person has a very distinctive hairstyle. Gatorade. Well, I am just staggered to see that it looks like No Set 45 is first again. And the reason why I'm staggered is because she was in there so quickly. She really was. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 to No Set. Or should I say 3.5? Because she shares it with Helen, the first one. Has anybody seen Streamlabs yet? Oh, there's Chris. Hi, Chris. Anybody seen Streamlabs telling anybody off yet? Yeah. No Set is on fire tonight. Yes, No Set. You get this.
The police came out and they filmed the show, so I couldn't move. I had to stand still. The only thing I moved was my little finger like that.
Yeah. So, and just to prove it, there is Charles Bronson. No Set is on a roll tonight, Steve. Yes. Ruth Daniel says, hi, Streamlabs. I haven't seen Streamlabs is on holiday. I haven't switched it off, so I don't know why Streamlabs isn't working. I might have to reinvigorate Streamlabs. But Streamlabs was getting a little bit out of order there for a few weeks. It was telling people off when they weren't doing anything wrong. So maybe Streamlabs is sulking, but I definitely haven't seen Streamlabs saying anything tonight. And it usually helps me out telling you things like press the like button and all this and all that. Yeah. I will just ask you to bottom right hand corner, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe and click the bell and turn it black. Don't choose personalized, but choose all, because if you choose personalized bell notifications, you don't get any. You just, I don't know, or you don't. Yeah, Ruth Daniel says, where are you, Streamlabs? I don't know. Streamlabs is broken, I think. I certainly haven't switched Streamlabs off, so it must be sulking. Just got up after watching the World Cup USA, went to bed at 7 a.m. Yes, and unfortunately, the USA was knocked out, weren't they? The Ladies World Cup. Yes. Okay, right. So, the topic is this. Reinventing Elvis, the 1968 comeback special. It's the new documentary, okay? And Steve Binder had a big hand in it. And I went to see it on Thursday evening. Oh, and by the way, if he's watching this live or if he's watching on replay, I met a lovely fella called Tommy there. And thanks for the kind words about the channel. Very, very nice of you to say that, Tommy. He was at the cinema. Now, it was very, very badly, in my opinion, it was very, very badly advertised. Because in my area, I don't know what it was like in your area, and I will be asking people to ring in after this and discuss this topic, Reinventing Elvis. When I went in, There was no lobby cards to be seen showing Reinventing Elvis. There was no posters on the wall. You know how they sort of have the posters outside and inside and showing you what's upcoming and what's showing at the moment. There was none of that. There was not one thing to see showing Elvis, Reinventing Elvis, the 1968 comeback special. So how were people supposed to know that it was on? And consequently, there was probably only myself and 6 or 7 other people in the screen, in the screen that we were in, because it's an omniplex and multiplex, so there's multiple screens. So that's the first thing that I was very, very disappointed about, was the advertising and the promotional side of it. And I even got a text from somebody today saying that there was no mention of it whatsoever. And when they went into their cinema and asked about it, Reinventing Elvis, they looked at him like he had 2 heads. They didn't even know what he was talking about. So that just goes to show just how poorly it was. I didn't know was at cinema, Steve. Well, Chris R. didn't even know it was at the cinema. So it sort of opens with, obviously, the background to the 68 special and why why Steve wanted to do it. But there was a little confusing part near the beginning where the clock shows, well, it shows you the date, 27th of June, 1968, and then it shows the clock at 8 p.m. Well, a lot of us know that Elvis did 2 sit-down shows and 2 stand-up shows. The sit-down shows were on the 27th, one at 6 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. And then the stand-up shows were on the 29th of June at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And they were on about how this was the first time that he was going to appear in front of an audience after making movies. And then they showed the clock at 8 p.m. when really the clock should have shown 6 p.m. So it's a mistake, I believe. I don't think it really is an error. Now, it doesn't really matter that much, but you know me, I'm a stickler when it comes to Elvis. So why they would make such a blatant error of showing the wrong time, I don't know. And also, it just, again, if they're trying to sort of be accurate about these things, especially to new fans, then they've got that wrong. They were unkind about the movies. They made out that after the first 3 movies, Love Me Tender, Loving You, 4 movies, Jailhouse Rock and King Creole, that he was just a figure of fun. They almost made him out to be clownish, which is not right. We, as fans, we can say yes, we know that some of them were a little bit on the lame side. They were a little bit predictable. The scripts weren't that great. The characters weren't that great. But all of them made money. There was only one sure thing in Hollywood at the time, and that was an Elvis Presley movie. So I'm not, I think they did it for a reason. And the reason why they were sort of showing the movies in a bad light was to show just how much of a comeback, if you really want to call it a comeback, was this special. There were delightful appearances by obviously the lovely Susan Henning, who was the blonde in the Bordello sequence, and other dancers as well. Alana Nash, she was interviewed quite at length about the Colonel, and I know not everybody agrees with her theory about why the Colonel fled Holland, but it was nice to see Alana Nash on the being interviewed. There were recording artists as well. There was one recording artist singing his song. Again, I'm not 100% sure where the tie-in came with showing recording artists and Elvis. I suppose what they're really trying to say, and what one of them did say, was that everybody was influenced by Elvis, even if they wouldn't admit it. They were influenced in some way by Elvis. So the recording artists part, sort of, that's where that tied in. Then they sort of listed, if you like, the cast. And the cast was, Parker was shown as a villain. And Steve Binder actually said that Parker did not give a fig about Elvis. Well, he didn't say fig, but you know what I mean. Control, that's all he wanted. He wanted to be in charge of everything, and he just wanted to be right all the time. That's why he kept on and on and on and on about a Christmas special, and there should be Christmas songs in it. Okay, there was a bit where Steve said he remembers in the sit-down section that Elvis did Blue Christmas, so that should assuage the Colonel's desire for a Christmas song. So then it goes on to say that Steve Binder was producer-director and Elvis was the star. So that's a little bit there where it actually sort of gives you an outline of who the three main characters are in this documentary. It's quite fast-paced at times, with only quick snatches of some performances, and I was aware of a little repetition also throughout the documentary, like Can't Help Falling in Love, Heartbreak Hotel. There was a couple of times when they just, they just showed the same song twice for some reason. I'm not too sure why. Elvis Presley, the legend, TCB always says shame Nash is in it. Well, and Chris R said Joe said the same. Sorry, Joe said to me about Nash. Well, as I say, she was in it, and it was probably just because of her theory and her book about the Colonel to tie it together. And I know that not everybody does agree with Alana's theory, but that's what I suppose that's what it's all about, really. We can all sort of have our own opinions and whether we do agree with Alana or not. They did show Elvis's humor quite a bit, which I'm glad they did. They showed, outtakes and some of the funny parts. Not just the outtakes were funny parts, but the funny parts that were actually in the special, in the final cut. So they showed those as well. The only song performed in its entirety is If I Can Dream as the climax. I kept hoping as the song progressed that they wouldn't suddenly cut away to an interview or overdub somebody's voice saying something about the performance, and was relieved that they didn't. I think it was correct that what they did. They should let the If I Can Dream sequence and song, let it stand alone, because we all know what it stands for. There was obviously mention of JFK, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, all those sort of things tying in with it. What I did find strange was a lot of people said, Steve, if you're going to watch it, wait till after the credits. So I sat through the credits, the lights stayed down, but nothing happened. I don't know what was supposed to happen after the credits. Maybe somebody can ring in and tell me what was supposed to be on after the credits, but it didn't happen in Ireland. Whatever it was happened in other countries. It definitely didn't happen after the credits. So is this a good documentary? Yes. Would I recommend it? Absolutely, I would recommend it. There's nothing new in it. So for somebody like myself, but then again, I didn't expect there to be. It will be a different story for the new fans. New fans, I would say yes, definitely download it and watch it on streaming when it's available. And it will be available on Paramount Plus from August the 15th. Okay? August the 15th, the day before Elvis's anniversary. It was respectful, but that would only be expected from Steve Binder, because as we know, Steve has a lot of respect for Elvis Presley. What would I mark it out of 10? If somebody said, Steve, will you mark it out of 10? I would mark it 9.5 out of 10. And I just can't give it a full 10, simply because I am just so hypercritical of anything Elvis that it won't let me give it a full 10. Okay, but if you think 9.5 out of 10, that is not a bad score at all, is it? And as I say, it streams on Paramount Plus from the 15th of August. Now, that being said, I will be looking for you to phone in a minute and tell me all the things that I've asked, such as what was supposed to happen after the credits, and what did you get it in your country? Did you go and see it? All these things. But however, as always, we've got to do the poll first. There's quite a lot of people actually being quite negative about Alana, but okay, we'll leave that stand for now. Maybe people can ring in and tell me why. But more importantly, let's do this poll. And it's very, very simple. Reinventing Elvis. Have you seen it at the movies? Waiting for it to stream on August 15th. It's not available where I live. So that's going to come up now on the screen. And I would urge as many people as possible to vote on that, please. We don't see who votes for what, and we just see the number and percentage of votes, because the more people that vote, the more accurate the poll will be. Reinventing Elvis. Have you seen it at the movies? Waiting for it to stream on August the 15th, or it's not available where I live. Now, I am well aware that is not available worldwide, unfortunately, and not everybody has Paramount Plus and all that, or not everybody has access to Paramount Plus. So that is my verdict on it, and I will just reiterate what I said: 9.5 out of 10. Now that is a very, very good score when you think about it, especially from somebody like me that is hypercritical of all things Elvis. When somebody takes on to do something Elvis, I am probably their biggest critic, unfortunately, to my sometimes to my it goes against me. So he slept with the blonde in the 68 special. Well, they did have a relationship, and if you do watch it, Susan Henning does say that. So yeah, I'm going to open the phone lines. If you are watching on playback, unfortunately, you won't be able to vote, and you won't see the vote. You won't see the result. But I will tell you near the end what the result is. Reinventing Elvis. Have you seen it at the movies? Waiting for it to stream on August 15th, or it's not available where I live. Now, let's open these lines to see what people can tell me and the things I need to find out. So let's have a look. That's turned off. Okay. And let me see if anybody is going to... Actually, yes. Here we go. Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Hello, who's that?
This is Carolina. How are you?
Hello, Carolina. Hello there. Yes, actually, I can see your name on the screen now. How are you?
Okay, good. Good. How are you?
Yes, great. So, are you ringing about Reinventing Elvis?
I am. I sure am.
Right. What are you going to tell me?
Okay. A couple things. So, I did see it in the movie theater, which was great.
How many times was it available to view?
It was available. It was only available on Sunday at 2:00, but it was available in the Chicagoland area, like hundreds of theaters, but all at 2:00 on Sunday, Chicago time.
So just one showing in the week. Yeah, well, in Ireland, it was available on a Sunday and a Thursday, which I don't think was enough. But the advertising over here was appalling.
None. I had no advertising. The only reason I knew was because I was watching the Elvis News Report, Emil's channel, and he mentioned that it was in theaters. Mm-hmm. And I was like, then I had to do my research and figure out where to go. And just like you said, there was no posters, there was no nothing indicating that the documentary was there, which was really disappointing, because just a little more promotion would have really helped support the film.
And how many people were in the theater with you?
I want to say I took two people, which are not super fans, mega fans, my mom and my sister, which are Elvis fans, but they wanted to see it. So us three and maybe 25 more, which I feel like it's a good showing for no promotion at all.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
so it's a big city. A lot of theaters were showing it at the same time, but gosh, I wish there was just some sort of promotion. The end, I sat through the end as well, and I got nothing. I also heard that there was something at the end, but I got nothing at the end.
I think somebody might have, maybe somebody was playing a practical joke on me.
No, because I heard the same thing. Stay to the end and you'll see some extra footage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I really liked the film. I'm not a historian, so I wouldn't pick up on the super, super tiny details like you guys, the experts on the channel, but I'm a huge fan of all the movies, and I was disappointed that his movie career was kind of trashed a little bit. So I mean, they were not the greatest films, but they're great to me, and I hate to see any bit of Elvis's career in a negative light. So that was my only thing. And then I don't know if you realize, but Baz is the creative consultant on this film, and I don't know if you picked up on some of his creative notions in the film. So that was interesting to see, because I did not know that going in until I saw the credits. The other part that I loved, two things. I love seeing Elvis on the big screen.
Yes.
For that alone, I would see anything that comes on the big screen. For that alone, if anyone is it goes to Graceland, even if you're not staying at the guest house, try to go to their movie theater. They play an Elvis movie every single day. When I was there, I saw Jailhouse Rock and Viva Las Vegas up on the screen. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't care how big a television you have. You can't beat seeing Elvis on the huge screen in a movie theater.
No, that is, if for only that reason, that's the reason. The other part is his humor. I love watching him laugh. I love watching him smile, his, goofy faces. And there's a compilation somewhere in there where they show 3 slides of him making funny faces or joking around. And that's one of the parts that stands out to me, because it shows just another side of him.
Yeah.
He wasn't always sad. He wasn't always down. He wasn't always upset about his career. He had a good life.
Yes.
And I want people to see that. And that part of it makes it maybe not a 10, but very close. I did not care for all the commentary from, whoever was interviewed, other than the actual cast.
The people that were there. Yeah.
Yes, the people that were there. One good highlight for everyone to know is the choreographer spoke in this documentary, which was really nice. The dancers. So overall, I would recommend it. I just love seeing him on the big screen, and I can't wait for it to come on streaming, because I just want to sit through it frame by frame, because when it's on in the theater, everything goes so fast.
Yeah, it was quite fast paced at times. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it again when I get a chance, and I know there's going to be stuff that I missed.
Yes. So that's definitely something.
I'm ashamed to say I don't think I knew any of those recording artists that commented on Elvis.
No, they're the younger. I mean, there was a country star. My sister recognized a couple of them, but I don't. And it's obvious that he influenced so many. Even it's good to see, because it's a younger recording kind of group of people that talks about him, and you don't necessarily expect that. So it's good in that sense. And hopefully it just continues. And it's as positive as it can be, and that's all that I ask, because it's unfair, some of the things that are posted about him, that are said about him, and I feel like this gives him a fair shake. Just a little bit on the movies, okay, but for the most part, I would definitely see it again, even if it came back to the theater. I don't think it will, But I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard that it was released uh, released for theater viewing because they wanted maybe to be able to be eligible for awards like the Oscar or the
Yeah.
Golden Globe.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
that has something to do with it. So
Could
we'll
be.
see.
Could be.
Yeah, so we'll
could be.
see. So
Okay.
anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, as always, thank you for your input and thanks for calling in, Carolina.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Alrighty.
I love the channels. Hi to everybody. Bye to everybody. Good night to everyone.
Okay.
I'll call again soon.
Yes, please. Please do. Please do.
All right.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Carolina said. My biggest complaint would be the lack of promotion and advertising that it received. I'm still at a loss. I'm still at a loss.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
That's young. That's young Dylan.
Yeah, or old Dylan.
No, you're definitely not compared to me. You're not.
Yeah.
How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say to me? You haven't seen this yet, have you?
No. I'm excited.
Was it available in your area? Was it showing anywhere?
It was showing like half an hour, but I didn't get to catch it.
Right. Okay. So you're going to be watching it on August the 15th, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm excited to see my crush in it.
Go on. Who is your crush?
Susan Henning.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'd love to be able to get Susan on the on this show, but she's very, very hard to find. I'm not even sure if I found her on Facebook or not. And I found somebody that I think might be her, but she hasn't posted at all. She's just set up a profile, but she hasn't posted at all. So I would just love to get Susan on the show.
Oh, yeah. I think Susan Henning and Kathy were my 2 first crushes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little 5-year-old for like no reason at all.
So I mean, you heard my verdict on it, and me giving it a 9.5 out of 10. So you're excited for that, are you? If I've given it a 9.5 out of 10, you must know how good it is.
Well, yeah, and I'm also excited to see if they interview, in the gospel medley, right at the start, that dancer, that male dancer.
The male dancer, no, not as far as I remember. They did, as Carolina said, they did speak to one of the choreographers.
Oh, that would be good because I think people might not agree with what I'm gonna say, but that's okay. I don't think the 68 special wasn't a comeback, really.
No, I don't even know why they called it a comeback, but they do anyway.
When you really think about it, because he was still doing stuff in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
He was still doing movies and he was still doing the albums. But for me, the real comeback was 69.
Yeah. I mean, they were unkind about the movies. They kind of made it out that after they actually said when he came out of the army, he became irrelevant. Which is a little bit like what John Lennon said. John Lennon said Elvis died when he went in the army, which of course is nonsense.
Well, yeah, we know that's not true because he won a Grammy after he came out in the army.
Exactly.
He won a Golden Globe after he came out in the army.
Mm-hmm.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, it was far from over after 1960 anyway.
Yeah, and what I love about with 69 is that's the real comeback when you think about it. Because because he hadn't performed in front of his own fans that had paid to come see him for 8 years. Because the last time, of course, as you know, was 61. So it was kind of like a real nervous time for him.
I mean, the 1968 TV special it served a purpose. Without the 1968 TV special, he wouldn't have got Las Vegas.
True, yeah, and I think it was just they had it just to prove that Elvis could still perform, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though we know that he could still perform, and I will defend Elvis until the day I die.
Yeah, me too.
So anyone that says that, oh, you better be ready because I'm throwing that.
So yes, it did serve a purpose, but it was hardly a comeback.
Well, yeah, I think like the real comeback, as I said, was the first engagement because that's. But also, you know how in like I'd be really interested. You said that they showed the "If I Can Dream" performance.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to see if they showed both the leather and the white suit, or if it's like just the white suit by itself.
It's literally just the white suit, and
just white suit.
Yeah, and completely and utterly uninterrupted. They do all they do all the talking that they needed to do about it before it, and then it just fades. It fades in, and then and then at the end of it, he doesn't even say the thank you, good night. It just finishes, and then the credits roll.
Well, no, see, that's perfect. But I think like that performance in the leather suit kind of gets overlooked.
Yes,
just because of how good that white suit performance was.
Yeah.
But I think, in a way, that performance was really good because, like, he was because people say, "Oh, like, he lip synced, blah blah blah." Yes, he lip synced, but if you actually hear it, you can hear his voice over the track.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still singing the song.
Well, it was for technical reasons that he lip synced anyway. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, we know Elvis wasn't just gonna lip sync. Like, we knew that he was going to sing it anyway because you don't tell Elvis Presley to lip sync. So he says, "Oh, lip sync? No," and just and he just sung the whole thing.
But I'm struck as well by the good job he did on lip syncing that. It shows his commitment to the special because he didn't really bother a lot in some of the movies lip syncing properly. You could even tell he was lip syncing in some of the movies. So you can see his commitment to the '68 special.
Well, yeah, and like you can see that he's singing for real, even when he's lip syncing.
Yeah. Alrighty, okay. So you're waiting till the 15th, and then do you know what you should do after you've watched it? You should ring in and let us know about it.
Yeah,
tell us what you felt about it.
I will do.
Okay, cheers, Dylan.
All right,
all the best.
Thank you.
Bye. I see there's a few other people trying to get through, so now's your chance. If you do want to ring in, please do. Or I can even ring you. Hey. Hiya, Mark.
Hello, Steve. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Did you see it?
I haven't. No, unfortunately not. It was only shown once here in Coventry Way, but I was at work and I couldn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah,
so.
and people are saying in the chat it was silly times as well. Sometimes, like 2:00 in the afternoon on a work day.
Yeah, the timings weren't good, so yeah. It was, unfortunately, and it was only once. If it had been a few times, and maybe over the weekend or Sunday, I could have gone and seen it, which would be nice to see on the big screen. But I'll wait till probably get streamed or sees. Then I think so.
I mean, the overall promotion, I think, is very poor of it.
Yeah,
I really do.
We've seen this before though with Elvis things. When it's been on, the big screen with a few certain things, in the past. And I mean,
a couple of years ago when they put on the '68 comeback special, the movie theater was full.
Yeah.
Now there were 6 or 7 people in this on Thursday.
Yeah. It's something that's come off the back of Amazing Elvis film. You would have thought they would have pushed this a little bit more. Obviously, with Baz a little bit involved with it as well, you would have thought they'd have, like you say, promoted it a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It's puzzling. It's puzzling because, as the lady said as well, and I said the same thing, there was no cards, there was no lobby cards, there was no posters, nothing.
And it's disgusting when you walk into a cinema and you ask a member of staff and they haven't got a clue about it.
Yeah. Somebody said they were looked at like they had 2 heads. They didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. So it's a bit strange. But I've heard people talk about it, and I've got some friends who've seen it and really enjoyed it. Like you say, we've been here before where they say Elvis's best films were his first 4 before he went into the army, and then of course it became silly then. And it's wrong because it didn't come silly, because we all know we had Flaming Star, we had Wild in the Country, we had King we had some real good films. follow that dream. So and then we had some beach films and stuff. Yeah, but they weren't all that bad, and Elvis did a great job in all of them. So and like you say, they all made money. And he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood. So
he was at one time. He was the highest paid actor. Yeah. And there was Hal Wallace even said there's only one short thing in Hollywood, and that's an Elvis Presley movie.
Yeah, that's it. And it's a shame that they mocked that, but I think they've probably done that for a reason. So
the reason was to show the purpose of the '68 comeback special.
Special, yeah. You know, I've had my views, and I think Elvis really respected Steve. I think when they met and had the chats, and obviously Steve didn't want to do the Christmas special. I don't think Elvis did. You know?
No, he didn't.
I think Elvis was a bit frightened of the Colonel, just what he might say. But then pair, they got their heads together and said, "Look, I want you to do this." And Elvis respected him, didn't he? And he said, "Sod it, I'm going to do it." And so I'm so glad he did, because the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? How successful it was.
I think the younger fans are going to be confused, though, if they watch this as well as the Baz Luhrmann film, because the Baz Luhrmann film really emphasized that it was supposed to be all a Christmas special, and the Colonel thought it was going to be a Christmas special right up to the very end. Well, of course, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, of course, yeah. He did want that to be like him just singing all Christmas songs, of course, or whatever, yeah. And he did sing a few songs in it. He did do the other one, a little bit of a jam of another one in there as well. But and I just feel like Elvis stood up for himself a little bit in '68, and I just wished that somebody like Steve could have took Elvis in his wings, and Elvis would have gone with Steve. Steve could have done so much with Elvis without the Colonel. That was the time.
Of course, they repeated the part where Elvis gave Steve his telephone number and asked him to call him, and then when he rang it, somebody picked it. I heard that. Well, I heard two different stories. I've read that Steve rang the number and it would connect, but Steve says that he rang the number and somebody picked it up and said Elvis isn't available and put the phone down.
Right. Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it? I think because I think he could have steered Elvis in a great connection, and I think Colonel was again. You watch the film, don't you? And you knew how great that '68 was, how great Elvis turned out to be. And then he tied him up, then, in Vegas.
Yeah.
And your last caller was saying about the comeback kind of thing. It's not. It wasn't a comeback to me. It was a comeback for Elvis to be in front of an audience again.
Yes.
It's in front of an audience. It's the first time he'd been in an audience for 9 years, more or less, 8 years. So
but the thing is, if he'd have just gone on and sung Christmas songs for 60 minutes and then said goodnight, he wouldn't have got Vegas. So it did serve a purpose.
We probably wouldn't have got it, but you just don't know, do you, with the Colonel? You don't know. I suppose you're right in a way, because it was such a success. The next stage was that, but I still think whatever Elvis had done, I think come that kind of period, because the films were coming to the end, he got his special, but let's glad that he didn't do that special that the Colonel wanted him to do. But success was there, wasn't it? But for me, it was in front of the live audience, wasn't it?
Well, when you see it on streaming, ring back and tell us what you think.
I will do, right. I'm interested to see it, okay. No problem.
All right.
Okay,
cheers Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to say as well is it's a 2-hour long documentary, but it didn't seem like 2 hours. It actually flew by, actually. So that's another indication of how good it is. Hello.
Hi, Steve. It's Danny.
Hey, Danny. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So
tell me, did you see it?
No, because it's here on Sunday, the 13th at 12:30 p.m. only.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's only in 2 theaters in all of Vancouver.
And what about, is there plenty of advertising? And
no, absolutely none. Actually, a friend of mine that works in the theater industry, he's one of the managers for the local theaters. This first time he's even heard of it.
And can anybody give a reason why it's so poorly promoted in the theaters? Are they're putting all their eggs in the basket for streaming? Are they?
Yeah, I think so. And I also agree with that other caller that you had on there. I think they're doing it because if they get it to the theaters, it might win some awards.
Right.
So that's what I'm hearing, anyways. But unfortunately, I can't go see it because I'm committed to something else all day Sunday.
Right.
And it's only at 12:30. So I'm gonna have to watch it on streaming and see
Mm-hmm.
what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's really weird, and I hear there's other parts of Canada that it's not even being shown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other parts of this.
Vincenzo on the chat is saying that it's not available in Italy at all.
Yeah.
So strange.
It's really, really strange. And I heard there's lots of parts in California it's not even being shown anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the United States and just over the line here in Washington, it's the same way. So.
Well, I'm going to say to you what I said to other people that haven't seen it yet. When you do watch it, please do call in. What I might do is I might do another show and get everybody that's seen it to call in and let me know what they think of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell what I thought of it, giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. And I trust your judgment, believe me.
Thanks.
But
it's indicative as well that it's a 2-hour documentary, but it flew. It really did.
Yeah. Did they show anything of him as a young boy? Did they talk about him growing up?
No. It was purely the background was obviously. It gave you Steve's background and what he was doing. You know, they said about the Petula Clark and was it Harry Belafonte and her touching his arm and all that.
Okay.
You know, and then they sort of showed Elvis doing the movies and how the first 4 movies were worth watching, and then after that the movies just became silly, you know, and they were unkind to the movies. But I can see why they probably did that, was to put the emphasis on how important the 68 comeback special was. They were calling it a comeback, and it wasn't really a comeback because he never went away.
No, I agree. No, it wasn't really a comeback. No, because I even talked to. Oh, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
You go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. Because I do remember my mother and father watching it live. Well, not live, when it was recorded in 68.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it just was unbelievable. Like, you know, when it was live on TV, right? The ratings were just so huge.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. But no, anyways, I'll phone back in and let you know my version of it. But it's too bad. I wanted to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, like the lady caller said, you can't beat seeing Elvis on the big screen, no matter how big of the television you have. That's for sure.
Exactly.
All right, Danny.
Okay, Steve.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. So the poll is Reinventing Elvis. Have you seen it at the movies? Waiting for it to stream on August the 15th, or it's not available where I live. So there's still time to vote on that poll. And there was, let's see.
Hello?
Hi, Salam.
I've been trying to ring in, but I can't time it properly.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I've timed it for you. How's that?
I think I'm on a big delay because I was just listening now and you were still talking to the other caller.
There could be a delay. But anyway, I have you now.
Well, all I have to say is I paid $20 for my ticket here in California. I would have paid $200 for the glorious viewing of Elvis Presley. I don't know, what was it, like 20 feet tall? Oh my goodness. There's no other way to see Elvis.
That's surely not the first time you've seen Elvis on a big screen.
I've never seen anything Elvis on a cinema screen.
Oh, wow.
That was my first time. Back in when the pandemic hit, they were showing That's the Way It Is in cinema.
Yeah.
But they shut it down. Everything got shut down. I never got to go see it.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I've ever heard Elvis or seen Elvis that big, and let me tell you, it was the greatest thing in the world.
And was there many people in the theater?
It was funny because I think there were maybe 15 or so, and then some people walked in the middle. I think they snuck in from another movie screen.
Oh,
but I had no idea this was playing. I caught it on someone's Instagram, like just scrolling along, and I was like, "What?" And then I Googled it, and it was being shown in all the theaters, Regal Cinemas, but only for one day at one time at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. That was it. And when I got to the theater, it was no advertising, nothing like that. And it was weird because I was like, after the big movie, and then the 68 comeback scenes were great in the movie, they should have played this up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't understand how no theatre seemed to have been provided with any advertising or billboards or anything.
Yeah, and the thing about the movies, yeah, they went a little too hard on that because his movies were still making money, and he was in the albums that were accompanying the movies, they were still selling. I think he always even outsold the Beatles, even with, I read something where even at the lowest of his low, he was still outselling everybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that whole thing, like they played it as if Elvis was dead. He was dead and the career was, I don't think that was pretty much ever the case. Did it need a revamping? Sure. But they went a little hard on that.
Yeah, well, Steve did say that they had a meeting at the Burbank offices, and Elvis said, "Where do you think my career's at the moment?" And Steve said, "It's in the toilet." Now, this was shown in the Baz Luhrmann film at the Hollywood sign. That didn't happen, of course, but it was sort of just for sort of theatrical purposes that Baz did that. But Elvis looked at Steve and stared at him for a minute and then burst out laughing and said, "I knew you'd tell me the truth."
And I don't remember which commentator it was where she mentioned how the songs and everything, like Elvis didn't try to do any of that Beach Boys, hippies. He just was still Elvis, which I thought was great. So when I think, and Steve Binder even said like he wasn't a fan of Elvis. He was a fan of all these new groups.
Yeah.
So when he told Elvis, your career's in the toilet, well, he's coming from that world.
Yeah.
But even then, Elvis did not do that in the special. He sang his songs his way, and he still was on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about, somebody wrote in the comments earlier, they didn't reinvent Elvis. I agree. They didn't reinvent him. They reintroduced him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elvis was hidden somewhere and like the new generation wasn't seeing him. And then they reintroduced him and they said, look, here he is. And he sang his same songs yes, he switched it up a bit, but they were his same songs, his way, the Elvis way. And he was still on top of his game.
Yeah.
So it was, but I loved watching it, and the ending was great. I didn't care for all these artists that I've never heard of talking about him.
I like I say, I'm almost ashamed to say I don't think I recognize one of those recording
I
artists.
don't know who they are, and it was a waste of minutes, I think. And then I know what happened with the credits thing, Steve.
Yes.
I got to the theater early. And they played what was supposed to play at the end. They played it in the beginning. There were no previews. They played that bit. So it was just the other artists singing Elvis and then a couple of deleted scenes of Steve Binder talking. It wasn't really anything.
Right,
you didn't miss out on much.
Okay.
They just showed this young country guy singing Elvis and talking about Elvis. And then they showed these other dudes. I forget who they were. I don't know. They were singing Elvis. And then Steve Binder said a couple of things about making the documentary. That was it.
Yeah. Did you pick up on the mistake that I picked up on as well, showing the 8 o'clock, the clock showing 8 o'clock instead of 6 p.m.?
You know, I'm not that savvy. You know, and when Elvis is on the screen and that beautiful face is in front of me, I can't focus really. This is just.
Yeah. Fair
and
enough.
let me tell you, I was smiling ear to ear. He's just gorgeous.
Yes.
He's just the best voice, the charisma. It just doesn't get any better. And then seeing him on the big screen now, I can't wait to get to Graceland.
Okay, well, you wait till you see my smoking hot picture tonight. Then you're going to faint.
Honestly, the most beautiful man to ever walk this earth,
yes.
And this confirmed it.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Salam. Always. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
But it was great. I recommend it. I loved it. It was a great documentary. I walked out actually happier than when I walked out of the Elvis movie. So I love this even more.
Right.
And even in the Elvis movie with you mentioned the Christmas stuff, thinking about it, that was a little cartoonish. That was unnecessary. I don't know why they did that in the movie. They could have just played Elvis's life literally how it played out, and it would have still been an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I loved it anyway. So I recommend it to anyone who can see it.
There you go. Okay, Salam. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right. Another hot recommendation there from Salam. She agrees with me. Yes. Okay. I think I've got most of the calls. Oh, here we go. Hello.
After when I walked out of the Elvis.
Hi.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
How are you? It's Leo.
Hello, Leo. Good to speak to you.
Same here. Good to talk with you. I loved Salam's call. I saw it too last week. I agree with a lot of the points of the other callers. It was really not promoted well at all.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful to see him on the screen. And the one thing I would add, I agree with what Salam said, that it wasn't like a reinventing. But in a way, do you think that it was more like he had to rediscover himself?
Yeah.
And all the great music that he had created.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had lost sight of that.
Yeah. I mean, one thing he probably did, he probably lost sight of himself during the 60s. Not so much the early 60s, but as the movies sort of got more and more sort of repetitive and the same thing. Just, you know, he was a speedboat driver, then he was a race boat driver, then he was a car driver, and all those things. I think he kind of lost his way a little bit. Yeah.
So that's what I would say, that he, in a sense, had to rediscover himself. But I thought it was very well done. I think I would give it the same rating that you gave it, 9.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you would? You'd give it 9.5?
I would. I would. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So it's becoming highly recommended then. Anybody that hasn't seen it yet or is unsure whether they need to see it, 9.5 out of 10 is good.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And I would agree with what you said also, that they gave the movies a little bit of a short trip. He had so many good movies. So I didn't like that part, but that's why it's 9.5 and not 10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably why you knocked off the half. A bit like me as well.
Right.
All right, Leo, you're quite new to the show, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been listening for a little while, but I was a little late to kind of sign in and to try to get some questions answered correctly.
Yeah, well,
but it's always been great.
I tell you, welcome aboard. We're really glad to have you on board. Everybody is welcome. Thanks very much.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for being so nice.
Okay,
great
Leo.
To talk to you, Steve. Take
all
care.
The best. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much. That's a great call. Let's see what else we have coming in here. I don't see anybody else coming in, so I might. So yeah, it's available on streaming Paramount Plus from August the 15th. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Steve, it's me, Vincenzo.
Hey, Vincenzo.
How you doing, Steve?
You are telling me that it is not available. Reinventing Elvis is not available in Italy at all.
No, I can't find it.
And you've checked the local cinemas and things like that, have you?
Yeah, I can't find it.
And do you have you got access to Paramount Plus?
No, I don't get Paramount Plus.
So you're not going to be able to see this documentary at all, then?
No, maybe you think it's going to be released on DVD?
It may be, but obviously it'll have to sort of be on streaming for quite a while, I would imagine. So I really can't say, but it's unusual that it's not available in most countries.
I know, it's kind of strange. It's strange.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so and the places where it is available, it was badly promoted. You've heard me say numerous times there was no posters, there was nothing at all. A lot of people didn't even realize it was running.
Yeah, when I saw the Elvis movie in Italy last year, there was posters all over the place.
There was posters all over the place for the Baz Luhrmann thing, yeah, and it was rumbling on for nearly 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Vincenzo.
Okay.
All the best.
Bye, Steve.
Bye bye. Yeah. Not a great line as you heard there from Vincenzo, but yeah, I'm surprised that it's not available worldwide, really. But I suppose some countries actually had the opportunity to take it or leave it, maybe, and some countries chose to leave it. Strange, but there you go. Right, we're going to move on. You can still call in if you do want to call in about Reinventing Elvis. Did I see there a super chat? I might have to go back quite a bit, but I did see a super chat saying that they hadn't. It was from Brazil, and they hadn't. Here we are. M. Carvalho. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. And it says, I'm eager to see it, but I guess it's not showing in Brazil. I hope to see it on streaming. So that's another person that hasn't been able to go to see it because it's not available in their country. So, yeah. Thanks for the super chat anyway. Very, very kind. So we're going to move on, and we're going to, don't forget, you can still vote on the poll. Seen it in the movies, waiting for it to stream on August the 15th, or it's not available where I live. And I'll be very, very interested to see what the overall totals are on those three options. Right, but we are going to do, let me get rid of Reinventing, and also I've got to clear off the topic box. Okay, right. We're going to do This Day in Elvis History. That's what we're going to do. And I've got pictures as well. Okay. And it starts with 1953, August the 6th, 1953. Elvis applied for a job as a delivery boy, but was not hired. The same happened at Kroger's grocery store as well. Imagine that, somebody turning down Elvis Presley. If only they knew what was ahead. 1955, Elvis performed at the River Stadium, Batesville, Arkansas. He sang That's All Right, Blue Moon of Kentucky, Good Rocking Tonight, and Baby, Let's Play House. 1958, military service at Fort Hood in Texas. 1960, he was doing Flaming Star. 1961, he was doing Follow That Dream with his natural hair color. 1962, Anita Wood announced in the paper that she and Elvis had broken up. She moved out of Graceland and returned home to Jackson, Tennessee, because she said it is evident that Elvis is not ready to settle down. 1963, Viva Las Vegas. In Memphis, Priscilla started reading press reports of the romance between Elvis and Anne Margaret. 1964, Girl Happy. 1965, he was working on Paradise Hawaiian Style. There he is with Janet Leigh. Susanna Lee. Janet Leigh was in Psycho. A completely different picture altogether. You see what I mean? Somebody please buy me coffee. I'm in a bad way. Not only did I say that Joan Blondell was in Charo, but now I'm calling Suzanne Lee Janet Leigh. Somebody please buy me coffee. 1966. During filming of Double Trouble, Elvis would spend most weekends in either Las Vegas or Palm Springs. Elvis's single, Love Letters, yes, there it is, hits number 6 in the UK. 1967, we've got Speedway. 1968, we've got Charo, without Joan Blondell. 1969, I'm sure you want to see these. Elvis did dinner and midnight Vegas shows. I've got some, well, not rare photos, but not the normal ones you might see of him in concert in 1969. So I will let a slideshow play of those. That apparently, I'm not sure how accurate that is, but that is him walking on stage for the very, very first time on the 31st of July. And you can see the Imperials in the background there, actually. And in the center of the shot of the Imperials is Terry Blackwood. He was a singer with the Imperials, and I actually spoke to Terry on this channel. So if you get a chance, check that out. I'll show you how to. There he is. There's Terry, the blonde-haired fella, second from the right in the group. So we have 1970. He attended the Nancy Sinatra show at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Wow. Look at him there. Isn't that something else? Charlie Hodge in the background. Then we've got 1972. Elvis did dinner and midnight shows at Hilton. And these are some of the bootleg LP covers. Las Vegas, 8/6/72 midnight show. A hot night at Paradise Road. A moment to remember, dinner show, August the 6th. So both were available on soundboard recordings. I'm not sure whether they're soundboard recordings or audience recordings, but look at that two-piece there. Wow. These are just some from the engagement. Hello?
Hello, can I call you Steve?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi, it's Darren. I'm from Staffordshire.
Hi, Darren.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet because I'm waiting for it to stream on the 15th of August.
Oh, tell me this: was it available in your area?
Well, let's just say I can get when it comes on. No, he says, and guess what? There has been advertisement on Facebook because I posted on my Facebook page.
Yeah, but Facebook, I mean, you'd expect more advertising than just Facebook. I mean, when I went to the movie theater, there was no posters, there was nothing to say it was on at all. No. Like, it was amazing, really.
I've always said this about when you show trailers, Steve. I don't judge it. I have to watch the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. A trailer is just a taster of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I say, last week I was watching your show, and Elvis did sing an Elvis. So it was from 1977, June. I've got it on DVD.
What did he sing, say?
And I love you so.
Oh, and I love you so.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, because it's actually on the Elvis in Concert LP, yeah.
Yeah, because like I say, I'm very nervous about bringing up this show because I have panic attacks.
Oh, no, don't be nervous. You're amongst friends.
Yes. And like I say, on Friday I sang in the pub.
Oh, right.
Westside picked me up, and I was terrified.
And tell me this, did you go down well? Yes, it went off well, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I swore a bit, but I said, I hope nobody takes the mickey out of me, and the karaoke bloke said, "Damn, don't worry, no one's going to take the mickey out of you."
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, just get up and sing. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, because like I say, I've got mental health. I've got in this building. Like I say, I'm doing changing on a Monday because, like, is your show live or recorded?
Yeah. Sorry, this show is live. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've been listening to. I think your show is fantastic.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thanks very much.
Yes, because like I say, I listen to Steve James on a Wednesday, and I listen to Todd Slaughter. Yes,
Todd's very good.
Yeah, but like I say, the Baz Luhrmann was okay, but it showed a bit of fibs. But like I say, Steve, when I see Priscilla, the film, I don't know, it's been remade.
Yeah, it's based on Elvis and Me, isn't it?
Yeah, 1988.
Yeah. Okay, all righty. Yeah. Well, thanks for the call.
Thank you very much, Steve.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, of course, that's another movie we've got to look forward to. Well, some people will say they're not going to look forward to it, but the Elvis and Me, the Priscilla movie. Yes, that's coming up, isn't it? Right. So, where were we? We were as far as 1972 for the this day in Elvis history. 1973, we've got Elvis performed at the Las Vegas Hilton, which was opening night of this engagement. And again, here we are, some covers of recordings of these shows. Raised on Vegas and Caught in a Trap. Right. Okay. 1975, Elvis remained in Memphis for the rest of the month. 1975, Elvis presented his dentist with a new Cadillac Seville, as you do. I normally, when I go to the dentist, he just normally presents me with a bill. I don't present him with anything. But Elvis bought him a Cadillac Seville. Good man, Elvis. 1976, late in the evening, Elvis returned home to Memphis after the tour. And in 1977, he was at Graceland. So that was this day in Elvis history. And as always, I say most weeks, I'm still interested in what you would like to hear as new features or see as new features on the channel. You can email your suggestions now to elvistheultimatefan@gmail.com. And also that goes for the Photoshops and I wish Elvis had recorded and if there's a particular YouTube channel you think I should recommend, then send that in as well. And you can send in your smoking hot photographs as well. Now, let me do the Photoshop, okay? And the Photoshop is this one. And this is Elvis and Priscilla leaving the Aladdin Hotel in the back of a Cadillac. No, it isn't. Of course it isn't. Because we've got Elvis's head there is shown in the Photoshop. Okay, so if you look at that one, and then you look at you see that that's the one they've used, and then Priscilla's is this one, which is I'll just maybe move that one over a little bit, and you can see what I mean by that. There you go. That's the shot that they've used for the Photoshop. So 2 separate photographs of Elvis and Priscilla used to make up a pretty bad Photoshop, in my opinion, anyway. And if you want to send in a Photoshop picture, please do, because we're trying to kind of educate people of which are the Photoshops and which are the genuine ones. Now, what else do we need to do? The YouTube channel I recommend, and I've recommended this one before, is Wings of Pegasus. Now, Phil, he doesn't. It isn't a Elvis channel per se, but he does delve into the topic of Elvis now and again. And he did one there last week. Is this Elvis's true identity, personality showing through? And he reacts to Elvis's performance of "Don't Be Cruel" on the Ed Sullivan Show in January 1957, and it's a very, very interesting video. So check it out. If you don't already follow it, check it out. Wings of Pegasus, and that is the YouTube channel I am recommending this week. Right, there's still time to vote on the Reinventing Elvis. Have you seen it in the movies? Waiting for it to stream on August the 15th, or it's not available where I live? If you click on the blue banner, it'll drop down the options for you. I'll leave it run for a few more minutes, because what have I got next? I have got, we'll do the song I wish Elvis had recorded. And it's this one. It's suggested by Laurie Gelman. Hi, Laurie. And it's a 1965 song recorded by American soul musician Marvin Gaye for the Tamla Motown label. The single was produced by Smokey Robinson and written by him and fellow Miracles member Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, and Marv Tarplin. The song features Gaye singing about the torment of a painful relationship. Okay, so the recording was Gaye's second US million seller, successfully duplicating its predecessor, I'll Be Doggone, from earlier in 1965 by topping Billboard Hot R&B Singles Chart in the fall of 1965, peaking at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became one of Gaye's signature 1960s recordings and was best known solo hit before the 1968 I Heard It Through the Grapevine. And it is this one. It's Ain't That Peculiar. And Laurie says, Steve, I think Elvis would have killed this one. What do you think? Well, as always, I will leave a link below so that you can click on that and it'll take you straight to Ain't That Peculiar by Marvin Gaye. And you can let me know. You can let me know in the comment section what you think, whether Elvis would have recorded that, if you wished he would have sung it. Caption this photo. Yeah. We have a lot of fun with this, and basically what it is I'll show you, I post a photograph every week on the community tab, and this is how you find it. You scroll across to the community tab, click on it, and then that'll take you to the picture, and you can leave your caption. Now, it's the same as well. If you want to find these live shows, you can just go to the live tab, and they're all there for you. And also I've created a playlist of the interviews I've done with the people from the Elvis world. And you can find it there under playlists. There it is for you. I have a caller. Hello?
Hello, Steve.
Yes, hello there.
It's Abraham. Hi, I saw the documentary on Thursday.
Right, well, pleased to have you aboard, Steve. Abraham. You saw it then, yeah?
I did, and I only found out about it on Wednesday.
Amazing. To think how poorly it was promoted.
I only found out about it on Wednesday.
Oh, if you can turn off your audio and talk through the phone.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, because there would be a delay, you see, and you'll be hearing me twice, you see. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, you have your audio on if you kill your audio.
Okay.
Yeah, so you only found out about it on Wednesday.
Okay, how do I do it? On my phone, you mean, or?
No, probably on your computer. You're probably watching me on your computer, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you kill the audio on the computer, yeah.
No, I'm watching you on my TV.
Ah, yeah. Turn the sound down on your TV. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Just
can you hear me?
Just for anybody that rings up if they kill their audio. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yes, Abraham. Yeah.
Yeah. So I only found out about it on Wednesday.
Wow.
By watching, I saw Elvis last, and I saw that she'd seen it.
Yes.
So I quickly looked to see if it was showing at my local cinema in Kent, and it was on, but just for one day on Thursday. So I bought a ticket and I went over there, and you're absolutely right. There was
no promotion or anything, no billboards, nothing, was there?
Absolutely nothing, and I think it's such a shame. I mean, there was probably about 20 people there, and it could have had a much wider audience if there had been some promotion about it.
Yeah.
My own feelings about it was it was pretty good. It was interesting to see some of the outtakes. I just thought that they rushed over the Elvis's early career quite quickly.
Yeah.
And also the clips that they showed from the movies, particularly things like the earlier ones, they kind of glossed over a bit, and then they rushed through that. And I don't think it was quite, didn't really give credit to some of his acting performances. They showed a little bit of King Creole, but they didn't show any of the sort of musical numbers on there. But overall, it was really good. And if you didn't know anything about Elvis, it was a very good introduction, but seeing him on big screen was fantastic.
Yes,
seeing the 68 special there was good. Of course, you had to wait till the end credits. If you didn't wait, then you wouldn't see the second section, which is a bit more on Steve Binder talking, because otherwise you could have just walked out and not known that bit was at the end.
We didn't get that in our cinema. I waited till after the credits. The light stayed down, but nothing came on. And eventually people just started using their phone lights to see to get out. And I waited a few more minutes and nothing happened. So I don't know what happened to ours.
Well, I think there might have been two versions, because I don't know whether this longer version with Steve Binder speaking at the end, and also a version of Blue Suede Shoes by Drake Milligan, who's a sort of a country artist that has done a lot of Elvis stuff, whether that's going to be on the Paramount version. But we certainly had it where I was, and it was
nice.
Quite a, it was probably 10 minutes long.
Really?
That bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you had to wait right till the very end of the credits.
Oh yeah,
and then suddenly...
I waited for a good 5 minutes after the credits, thinking, what's happening here, because people had said, Steve, wait till after the credits because there's more. There was no more. So as you say, maybe there was a different version in Ireland.
Yeah, probably. There could be two different versions of it, but it was only showing that one occasion because I thought, let me go and see it again. But I couldn't find it anywhere else that was showing on another day.
But isn't it amazing that you wouldn't have known if you hadn't seen Michelle, Elvis Lash's video on it?
Absolutely. And I hadn't a clue about it. I didn't. Yeah. And then I saw her review and I thought, I must go and see it. But luckily, my local cinema was showing it.
Yeah.
And what was quite interesting was they were showing Barbie next door, and loads of young people came out of that. I thought it would have been great if they had been able to see this documentary on Elvis, but it is what it is. But it was an interesting mix of audience, because there were some quite, younger people, I would say in their 20s and early 30s, who'd come along, as well. So it was a mix of, I guess, older fans as well as some younger ones, which was good to see.
And you're based in the UK, obviously, are you?
Yeah, I'm in Tunbridge Wells in Kent.
Right.
So outside of London. So I think I was quite lucky that the Odeon was showing it there. I think it was in some other cinemas, but I don't know where else. But.
And you heard me say that Vincenzo says he couldn't find it anywhere in Italy. So it's not a worldwide thing by the looks of it.
It isn't. And I think they've gone to cinemas, obviously, and asked them whether they would be willing to show it. But I guess if you don't publicize, if you don't advertise something like this, then you're just not going to get that wide audience, because all the people who saw Elvis, the film last year, might have been quite curious to see this, because obviously 68 specialists highlighted. So I think they missed a trick. Maybe because it was meant really it was probably a Paramount thing, but they thought they'll give it some exposure.
It'll be interesting to see how well it streams, because I think that there's ways of telling how things do on streaming as well, isn't there? There's analytics on streaming as well, I believe, isn't there?
There is. I mean, the thing is, of course, if you haven't got Paramount, then you're going to miss out on it as well. I mean, unless you subscribe to Paramount, it's not going to be on Amazon Prime or.
And I wonder, will they ever do something on Blu-ray for it or something like that?
Possibly. But with all these things, you've got to have some marketing behind it to raise the profile. So, but it's there, and I think it was a good account. The outtakes were interesting, and I mean, I think we've probably all seen Steve Binder talk about his experience of filming with Elvis in various excerpts in the past. But it was good to have a dedicated documentary on that. So
I mean, there was nothing new for the likes of me, but newer and younger fans will find this very, very educational for them. So I would urge them to stream it.
Definitely, and it sets the sort of context of America at the time, which is good, because it shows what was the background, and so you don't see it in isolation and think, what was all this?
Elvis was in touch with what was going on within the States, wasn't he?
I think, definitely. I think you couldn't but help be aware of, there's so many significant events in that year, and it was impossible to be detached from that. But there was nothing about the Sun period. It just showed sort of straight into the. The RCA.
I mean, the focus was on the 68 special, why it was done, the purpose of it, and what it achieved. As I say, it wasn't his comeback because he'd never been away, really, had he? But if he hadn't done that 68 special, he wouldn't have got Vegas. I know I'm repeating myself, but I do feel that is the case. He wouldn't have gone to Chips Moman's studio either, I don't believe, and had the hits that he had.
That's right, and it was such, it launched him into a sort of creative phase and re-energized him as a person. And it's just a shame that he just, that period was relatively short, because if you think about it, from 68 to 77 wasn't a very long period, and he sort of fell away again. I mean, Colonel Tom Parker is painted as the villain, as you know, on there. Yeah, he is. But Baz Luhrmann's credited as a consultant on it. I don't know if you saw the credits. So that was a thing. But but anyway, so great. That was my sort of perspective.
Abraham, thanks for calling in. It's lovely to hear from you, and please do call in again, won't you?
All right, well, we'll do, Steve. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care then. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I mean, I keep going over this, how badly it was publicized. I mean, I said to a fella before it even started, this is sort of, the turnout is poor, isn't it? It doesn't seem to be very well advertised. And he says, I found out by mistake about it. So, yeah. Right. So we were going to do caption this photo, weren't we? And I was telling you how to find all the things on the sort of like the community tab for doing this. I normally post the funny caption photo on a Tuesday, and then of course the live tab. If you want to catch up with the live shows, you can do that as well by going to the live tab, and also the if you want to go into the playlist, you can listen to the interviews I've done with people as well from the Elvis world. Right, the caption was this. Richard Egan and Elvis on the set of Love Me Tender. And what did I find here? I found that we have somebody saying, don't tell Deborah, but she's pulling the plow in the next scene. Rich, thank God this is the only musical I will ever have to be part of. Yeah. I was scared at first. Now I can't stop laughing. The girls keep hollering and screaming at me. Yeah. Then, I wasn't supposed to sing in this movie, but can you imagine? They've got me singing about a roof with a hole in it. But the winning caption, and believe it or not, it is, would you believe that it's a tie? We've got Mrs. EAP Elaine and Caroline Pike. And Mrs. EAP says, I've just seen the Colonel in makeup. Mr. Webb wants to use him in the next scene. And Caroline says, hey, Rich, did you hear me singing I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts on AI? It's hilarious. So it was a tie. So what we need to do is we need to give Mrs. EAP Elaine and Caroline both a round of applause. That's the first time we've had a tie on caption this photo. So as I say, watch out for it on the community tab around about Tuesday. Give me your comment caption, but also have a look through the other ones and give it a thumbs up, your favorite. And the one that has the most thumbs up, I will give a shout out next Sunday. Now, smoking hot. No, I won't do smoking hot. I'll do the poll first of all. Yes. Let's have a look. Yeah. Now, the poll. I'm very, very interested to see. Okay. End the poll. And basically, the results are Reinventing Elvis, have you? Waiting for it to stream on August the 15th, 52%. More than half are waiting until August the 15th. It's not available where I live, 26%. And then seen it at the movies, only 20% of people polled have seen it at the movies. So that just goes to show just how poorly it was promoted. So again, 52% are waiting for it to stream. 26%, it's not even available where they live, and only 20% saw it at the movies. So there you are. Now, I promised you this smoking hot photo. I even said to Salam, wait till you see this. Yeah, it doesn't really need any introduction. It just needs this. Ladies, I'm waiting for your comments. Look at that bottom lip. I'd say you could really... I'm not sure whether to say this or not. I say you could sink your teeth into that bottom lip, couldn't you? Ay, ay, ay. Now, let's have a look. Oh, baby, says Debbie H. Defibrillator at the ready, says Tracy. OMG, I'm going to faint, says Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. I'm ready, says Salam. Well, there it is, Salam. I've got 911 on speed dial. Lisa says, OMG, he had it. Gigi says, kissable lips. Yes. Oh my God, Steve Thud, says Chris. Yeah. That's from, it looks like about 1972, that, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not right. And I'm trying to get as much right as possible after I said that Joan Blondell was in Charrow and when she was in Stay Away Joe. So I'm off for a lie down anyway after this. I need it. I still can't believe I said that. Sometimes when you're doing these live shows, your brain says one thing and your mouth says another. So Chris says, those luscious lips. And Salam says, woo, gorgeous. So lovely, such kissable lips. I love his expression here, relax. Yeah, it's on stage and he's looking across. It almost strikes me as he's looking across towards the girls, the inspirations. He's looking at me again, says Sandra. And Leo says, excellent. Yes. Well, we've reached that stage again. I do hope that you've enjoyed it. Thanks to all the great callers. Thanks to Dave for moderating. And I'll meet you back here next week for another exciting episode from Elvis the Ultimate Fan channel. And it's getting nearer and nearer to Elvis Fan of the Year as well. But until then, take it away, Al.
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.